welcome back to my channel. It's Tony. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day wherever you are. It's another sunny day in London and I am again very sad that I'm not filming outside, but we move. Today's video is going to be about, wait, let me consult my book. Today's video is all about me being polyamory. So in case you didn't know, I am a 24-year-old Londoner who is pansexual and polyamorous. Polyamory means many loves. Very different from polygamy, which is many marriages. Not about that life. Very distinct things, and it's important to understand the distinction between them, because people do tend to get confused when I say polyamorous and polyamory, because their first thought is polygamy, you know, and having many wives, many husbands, and that sort of thing, which isn't what it is. I am polyamorous. I kind of figured out that polyamory is for me through a friend. So I was having a conversation with them, and my friend Winky, we've been talking about like all sorts of things, and we came to the topic of my relationships, and I was like, you know what, I'm happy being single, and what I want out of a relationship is I still want to retain my independence. I still want to be able to like make new connections. I want it to be an ethical slut, basically. Yeah, I wanted to be able to have romantic stuff. I do romantic things, like go on dates, go on like really cute dates, do really cute things, but I didn't want the label of girlfriend or partner, because I think that mostly just stems from me having really bad experiences from being in committed relationships, where I've always felt like I was stifled and I felt like I lost parts of myself whenever I was in a relationship. I just didn't really want to jump into that again. So Winky, knowing me, and she knows me quite well, she was like, this sounds very similar to like other aspects of your life. I was like, huh, it is, because in other aspects of my life I don't like to commit either. I have so many different interests and like so many things I want to do, and there's so many facets to me as a person that it kind of just makes sense that I also don't want to narrow myself down so much when it comes to romantic relationship. And to be fair, like I'd heard of polyamory before, but that was when I was younger. I didn't really understand it, and I was like, oh no, I can't do that. I can't do that. Like I'm too jealous. I'm very insecure. I can't ever imagine sharing someone that I'm with. And you know, before I fully like got down to it and really explored what polyamory meant for me, I had to address those insecurities and really look introspectively about why I was getting jealous and why I felt so insecure. Because ultimately, yeah, what I was thinking when I was younger was that I was jealous because I didn't want to share my partner, but at the same time I wanted to, you know, go out and do whatever I wanted to do. So it wasn't like a two-way thing. And honestly, I think it was a lot of growing up on my part and dealing with my traumas and my issues. And now within myself, I feel a lot more comfortable around the idea of, you know, sharing a partner, because it would be very hypocritical for me to want to see other people and to, you know, have that freedom and then not be okay with my partner doing the same thing. There are many different ways to be polyamorous. There is like, you can be in a polycule where they have like 4 people in a relationship. You can be a close triad where there's only 3 people involved. So for me, I am practicing solo polyamory. Excuse me. And that is because I just don't feel like I have it in me to be the sole or primary source of support for my partner. And that is largely down to my past experiences. So I'm the eldest of 6, and I've always kind of been a caregiver at home, and I always had to put my needs as a secondary thing, and I've always had to be there for other people. Now that I'm older, I'm out of my family home, I'm very much in that space now where I don't want to do that anymore, you know. I'm happy, I'm a great friend. I'm happy to be a friend because I know that people can get their emotional support from a wide range of people. They're not just relying on me. But in a romantic relationship where it's just monogamous, there is the expectation that you are, you know, your partner's primary source of emotional support. And that's just too much for me to deal with. That's too much for me to handle because I haven't experienced that when I was growing up. So of course, like I definitely feel like I have avoidant I have an avoidant attachment style, and attachment styles are very difficult to break. This is my psychology background coming out. I studied psychology at university. So you have these different attachment styles when you're growing up, and how you form these attachment styles is based on how your caregiver provided care to you. Without going into too much detail, my upbringing was it's complicated. It was complicated. I have had a hard time trusting and giving myself in relationships, and of course, you know what happens when you're a child, it really stays with you, and it's very difficult to change old ways, and of course I am working on it, but naturally it's just going to be hard for me. So right now I don't want to be the sole source or the primary source of emotional support for someone, because you know it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of emotional labor, and right now I just want to live my best life and just be independent. And basically what solo polyamory is that I'm my primary partner. So in a polyamorous relationships, sometimes people do like a hierarchy, or they have like their primary partner or their nesting partner, their anchor partner, which is basically someone that they live with, you know, someone who they kind of have that traditional monogamous relationship kind of with, and they have secondary partners. Yeah, so they have different levels. Some people do that, some people don't. Some people value all their relationships as the same thing, but of course it's up to the person and what they want to do. But for me, as a solo polyamorous, I am my primary partner. I have no intention of setting up a bank account with someone, of moving in with anyone, having kids with anyone in that sense where, you know, I am then tied to them forever. That is not my intention right now. That could change in the future. I might decide to even go back to monogamy in the future, who knows. Right now that is what works for me focusing on myself, prioritizing my needs. Of course, it doesn't mean that I neglect whoever I'm with. It just means that I have communicated from the get-go what I am capable of giving to them, and it's up to them to decide if that's okay with them, because I don't want in the future for them to be expecting things of me that I know I can't give them, and I've already communicated that I can't give them. Being polyamorous, it requires a lot of communication and making it very clear what you can give to someone and also what you expect from someone as well. That's what I really like about it. It's definitely made me improve my communication skills, because if you knew me when I was younger, I would keep a lot of things inside and I just would not tell people when something was wrong, or you know, I wasn't very upfront about what I wanted either. I would play a lot of games, and I think growing up and also navigating this new relationship style has definitely improved me for the better, for sure, 100%. Before I made this video, I actually asked a question on my Instagram story. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a video about this. Do you guys have any questions you want me to answer? And one of the questions someone asked me was, how do different polyamorous people interact? Have I actually interacted with other poly people before? I don't know, I feel like maybe I have, but explicitly, I don't really know anyone in person who is polyamorous. Wait, maybe I do actually. You know what? I know people who are non-monogamous. I don't know if they would identify as polyamorous as well. Okay, so I'm just going to use polyamorous and non-monogamous interchangeably, because yeah. So I have interacted with people who are non-monogamous, which is kind of similar to polyamory. It's like under the umbrella term. And honestly, in terms of like interacting with other polyamory people, if I have no intention of getting into a relationship with them, then it's pretty much the same as me, you know, hanging out with a friend. But if I want to get with, or if I want to date someone who's polyamorous, everyone is different. Not every polyamorous person is going to be a polyamorous person like me. I think it's just important to communicate. So if you do ever find yourself talking with someone who is polyamorous and maybe you're interested in them romantically, just communicating and finding out, you know, what is the situation, what can you expect, are they single or are they already in relationships? What are those relationships like? What are they kind of expecting? But of course, you know, I don't really ask this stuff straight away. Because imagine on the first day, just like, I need to answer this. It's just like, it takes away the fun of dating. It's important to know if they are polyamorous. And, you know, using an app like Field, I tend to find people who are polyamorous rather than dating in the real world, because I know not everyone is polyamorous. I know a lot of people don't understand it and don't want to do it. Excuse me, so gassy today. I'm not expecting everyone to be down for it, because they're not. Not everyone is. So that's why I tend to use apps like Field, because at least then they know what I'm expecting, and I don't have to do that awkward thing where it's like, oh, I really like you, but I don't want to be monogamous. Like, is this okay? Because then, you know, you might get really attached to the person, and then you tell them that you're not monogamous, and like, no. So yeah, I like to tell people straight away that I am polyamorous, well, as straight away as possible, so that I don't get my feelings hurt if I really like them, and also that they don't get their feelings hurt either. But anyways, back to the topic of interacting with other polyamorous or non-monogamous people. And if I want to date them, it's just, like I said, communicating, finding out what their situation is, because like I said, I'm a solo polyamorous, so technically I am like a single. Not technically, I'm a single person, and I have no intentions of joining any of my romantic relationships together. I do not want a polycule, I don't want a close triad, I don't want anything like that to happen. I very much like to insert myself into, you know, other people's lives. I don't want to then take on, does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay, on apps like Field, I prefer to date couples, because why? They have each other. They're not going to be relying on me to, you know, be that source of emotional support. They've got that foundation elsewhere, and it can be a bit tricky, mostly because they have their support system, but it just means that I don't really have that in a romantic partner. So I tend to lean a lot on my friends as my emotional support, which is totally fine with me because I love my friends. But it's just something to be aware of if you do want to practice solo polyamory. You're not going to have the same sort of support in place as potentially your partner who is practicing another form of polyamory. And when I say I date couples, I don't necessarily always date both the couples. Right now, I'm only dating one half of a couple and other people who are also single. If that makes sense. So yeah, I don't know if that answered the question of how different poly people interact with each other. I hope it did. I just want to preface that I am very new as a polyamorous person. I only like really decided earlier this year, around like March time. So I am still learning, and I'm happy to take you along this journey of learning with me. So we'll see. Next question is, does it get emotionally complicated? So I am very new to polyamory and non-monogamous dating, even though technically I have been doing it for a while. I just didn't have a name for it. I've always been dating multiple people simultaneously, unless like I was in a monogamous relationship. So I kind of know what to do-ish. Does it get emotionally complicated? I haven't had any issues with it being emotionally complicated. I want to say the reason that is because, you know, you communicate and you just make it very explicit from the get-go what you're expecting. I feel like it does have the potential to become emotionally complicated. Jealousy will happen, and jealousy is perfectly normal. I would be lying if I said you won't ever get jealous as a polyamorous person. That's a lie. People get jealous all the time. It's normal to feel a bit jealous, and what you should do when you feel jealous is just kind of communicate. I think it's just important to communicate throughout any kind of emotions you're feeling, just so everyone's on the same page, and it kind of helps you work through your emotions and your feelings as well. If you tell your partner, oh, you know, when you were doing this and this, you know, I felt a bit jealous and I don't know, I felt a bit upset, and then you can kind of talk about it, and you know, you can get that reassurance that there is no need for you to be jealous. As a solo polyamorous, I don't want to be the sole or primary source of emotional support for someone. So I know that I can't give someone everything they might necessarily need. So I take comfort in knowing that maybe perhaps the reason why I'm feeling jealous is because I feel like they should be coming to me. But if I've told them this is what I can give, that's all I can give, I can't then be upset if they go somewhere else to satisfy their need. And I think that's very important to remember. Like with your friendship group, you have some friends who are really great for, you know, going to a pub quiz. Friend who, you know, will always be down to watch Drag Race or to any kind of drag convention. But you know, there's some friends who it's not for them, and that's what I see it as. My different relationships and different connections, they have a different, I don't want to say purpose, and that's what I have to really remember. That definitely helps with any sorts of feelings of jealousy that I might have. I just need to like reflect and unpack why it is that I'm getting jealous, like what triggered this emotion, and then just communicating it with my partner kind of definitely helps with the feelings of jealousy for sure, 100%. All right, another question I got is, where do I find other people who are polyamorous? As you know, not everyone is into polyamory. Most people are into traditional monogamy. It does make it difficult to navigate dating. What I do. I find people online. I use the app Field because that is an app specifically for people who are into an alternative dating style. And you can check out my video about my cannot even fucking talk. And you can check out my video about my review. I definitely recommend it if you are interested in exploring like different and alternative relationship styles. I know that some people within the polyamorous community also use like OkCupid, because there's an option on there to actually say that you're polyamorous and like in a non-monogamous relationship. I do find that using apps like Tinder, Bumble and Hinge, it's a lot harder to navigate because not like most people on there are into traditional monogamy, so you have to like put it somewhere on your profile that you are non-monogamous. And also some people don't even read the profiles either, so you have to really make sure that whoever you're talking to knows straight away, because people have different intentions when they go on these apps. I think it's very important just to be open and explicit about what you want. Another question was about being polyamorous and parenthood. It's a long way off. I have no intention of having kids anytime soon. I know I do want to have kids. I know that there are definitely some cases of people who are polyamorous and who do have kids. They're working out perfectly fine. I see no problem with it. I think of it as it does take a village to raise a child. Like growing up, I was always very close to my aunts, my uncles and my cousins, so I see polyamory as just like an extension of that, really, because you don't raise a child in isolation. You have the support system around you, like you have your family members. So I don't see why that would be different if you were in a polyamorous relationship. Why not have as much support as you can? But of course there are definitely cases where people have faced a number of challenges being polyamorous and having a child. The stories I've heard is of, you know, someone of their partner being like, oh, you know, they're not fit to raise a child because they are polyamorous. And in that case, that's just really wrong, because I don't see how someone's relationship style impacts their ability to raise a child. So I think those sorts of scenarios can be avoided by just making sure that the person you want to decide to have a child with is someone that you know you can still continue to raise a child with, even if things don't necessarily work out. And you know, it's someone who is open-minded and who isn't going to then become prejudiced towards you because of how you want to date and live your life. Because at the end of the day, what's more important is that you're able to raise the child. You know, it shouldn't matter how you want to love. Another question I had was, how is it dating as someone who is polyamorous? So I think I touched on this just before. I prefer to do online dating because it makes it explicitly clear that I am polyamorous. I don't have to then tell someone really, I don't want to say awkwardly, but just telling them after the fact, like, I like you, but this is where I'm at. Because most of the time most people aren't going to be on the same page. They want just you, and that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly okay, but it's not for me. I think that's the most difficult thing, is just like dating, like meeting up with people in real life, especially now that things are opening up and I'm out and meeting people and people are like, oh hey, and they ask my number. I'm like, yes, you cute, I'm 100% down. And then like you go on like a really good date and then you tell them, oh, by the way, I'm poly, and they're like, oh, I'm not into that. And that gets a bit sad. That's how I avoid that happening, is just going on dates with people I met online. But you know, it has actually worked out okay with me meeting people in person as well, but it's just something to be aware of. Another question I had was, who am I dating? Well, I am dating a few people. I am currently dating someone who is married. I am dating only one half of that couple. They're super nice. We've been dating for how long? I think almost 2 months now. It's going really well. It has been like a learning curve for both of us, because like it's also their first time in their relationship where they are opening up, you know, their marriage. So it's been a learning curve for both of us, because navigating non-monogamy and polyamory as a single person, I feel like is way easier than as a couple, because you don't have so many, like, I don't want to say issues, but it's just like, I feel like there's a lot more factors to consider when you're dating, when you're in a relationship and you're becoming non-monogamous. There's a lot to think about, and dating someone who is part of a couple, I also have to think about their partner as well, which is totally cool with me. But yeah, it's been interesting, but it's definitely also been very fun as well. Like I feel like I don't know, I feel like dating them is how would I describe it? Dating them is fun. I don't know, puts a smile on my face. So there's that. And I do enjoy talking with them, enjoy our dates as well. That's always fun. And I had a friend actually ask me, oh, what happens, you know, if you get real like deep feelings with them? I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what will happen. But I'm trying really hard to just kind of go with the flow and not worry too much about the future, and just enjoy the present, enjoy the moment, and enjoy the fact that we enjoy each other's company and we have a lot of fun. That's what I like to, that's what I prefer to do. I don't want to stress or overthink anything. I'm 24, man. Like, I've got plenty of time to worry and stress and do whatever. So other than them, I'm also dating another single person. They're not single, I mean, okay, they're single in the fact that they're not married or they haven't got like a long-term partner. So I'm dating 2 people like that on top of the person who's married. With the other 2, it's been about a month since I've been dating them, and honestly I feel like 3 is my number. 3 is my limit. I can't. Okay, maybe more than 3, but it's just like I just don't have the energy or capacity to really maintain multiple relationships like that. With most of the romantic relationships, I'm approaching it like we're friends to start with, because I think it's easier that way, because then, you know, you can still have a conversation with them, and if things like fizzle out romantically, you've still got a really good friend, which is what I really like. That makes it a lot easier in my head to maintain the relationship, because I have quite a few really close friends, but I don't see them all the time, I don't talk to them all the time, but we still have really good relationships, and when we see each other, it's like we haven't like not seen each other for a while. So that's how I approach my relationship, just to make it a lot easier for me as well to maintain it. So yeah, I'm talking to a few other people, but it's nothing like super serious. I would say the one with the married person, that's like probably my main focus right now. And I may be setting myself up to, you know. Ow! What made me interested in polyamory? One of my friends asked me this question, and I said, oh, you know, I have all this love to give, and I don't want to like not give it to everyone. You know, why should I limit myself to one person? And then she said, oh, you know, it sounds like every polyamorous person has this script to follow. I was like, huh. Made me think. I was like, but you know, ultimately the reason is I like my independence, I like to date, and also I'm a slut. And a slut in a good way, isn't in that I enjoy sex, I enjoy meeting new people, I enjoy going on dates, I enjoy flirting. Flirting is part of my heritage. Honestly, that is the reason. It's purely selfish. It is 100% driven by my ego, and I wish it, you know what, fuck it, I don't wish it wasn't. It's just what it is. Being polyamorous kind of just gives me a name for it, because I think I've always felt this way, where I enjoy like the dating side of things, I enjoy, you know, the romantic stuff, I enjoy first dates, all that other stuff. And as soon as I got into a relationship, I just felt like, oh, claustrophobic. I told my friends, I think it was like 2 years ago, you know, I just want to have multiple relationships, but I still want to do cute stuff. And that's when I came up with the name, like an ethical fuck girl. But now I know a proper name for it, polyamorous. That's what I am. I'm polyamorous, and it just suits me so perfectly right now. I don't know if that will be me in the future, but I just know right now that's what interested me about being polyamorous, and just kind of exploring that side of me, because I'm now in a stage in my life where I'm like out of my family home, I'm on my own, I am an adult, I don't have to fucking study, I have this freedom, and I definitely just want to explore everything about me. You know, I want to explore my sexuality, I want to explore all sorts of things. I need to do that on my own. What I want to do is very incompatible with traditional monogamy, so I am not gonna pretend like, yeah, this is what I want. I used to think, you know, I wanted a monogamous relationship when I was younger, and because I was very envious of my friends who are in long-term relationships. Oh my god, it's so cute, so cute. But then when I ended up in it, I didn't like it. So really, I don't know, it was misplaced envy, and I am much happier now being polyamory. But of course, you know, you do get these moments where you're like, oh, I do kind of wish that, you know, there was one person I could go to. But then I just remember, oh, these people have many issues. Okay, they don't. What I remind myself is that, yeah, these relationships might look great, but every relationship has problems. Even polyamorous relationships have their problems, monogamous relationships have their problems. No relationship is perfect, basically. And I just have to remind myself that this is right for me, and in that moment I might feel sad, like, yeah, I want a boyfriend or girlfriend, but in reality I don't, because I'll be unhappy. And it's not to say that I haven't found someone who makes me want to be monogamous. No, I will never choose to be monogamous because someone wants me to be monogamous. It has to come from me, otherwise it won't work. I'll end up resenting them. That's what I feel like anyway. If I become monogamous again, it has to be because of me, and it's not going to be because someone converted me or, you know, tried to change me. That's the biggest turn off. If I tell someone that I am polyamorous, I'm non-monogamous, and they date me with the intention to try and change me, that's the worst thing possible, because you should be dating me because you like me and because you're comfortable and you accept and respect what I'm about. So that's what interested me about being polyamorous. I hope that answers the question. And that's all the questions that I got from Instagram, and that's all the topics I think you might want to know. But let me know in the comments if there is any other questions that you have, and I'll definitely answer them as best as I can. But I just want to reiterate, I am still very new to this. I am still exploring what polyamory is and what, you know, I want from relationships. I only like realized a few weeks ago that solo polyamory was what I wanted to, like, you know, be. Because before I was saying, yeah, I'm polyamorous, I'm polyamory, I am polyamorous, you know. But now I'm like, okay, I am solo polyamorous. And there is a distinction. That's it from me. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you liked it, and turn on the notifications so that you know when I make my next video. I cannot wait to speak with you next time. Let me know in the comments what other videos, what sort of things you want to see from me as well, and I'll do my best to give you what you want.